Hey everyone, Derek here again. I'm here to bring you another video for our Sons of Anarchy countdown to the final season. We are less than a month away, getting closer to the premiere on September 9th. And as I said, I'm going to be doing some episode reviews of all of the episodes of Sons of Anarchy. And today I'm going to do the season 1, episode 10, which is called Better Half. Definitely a great episode, one that I think kind of has a storyline of its own, so I really want to do it by itself. To really get all of basically all the details in there. So if you have not caught up on Sons of Anarchy, if you're just for some reason watching it, you're not caught up, please do not watch the videos that may contain spoilers. Okay, so this episode is basically the one where Agent Stahl, the ATF agent, is putting her plan in motion. And one of the things that she knows about with the Sons of Anarchy is that, like, she states that biker clubs generally tell their women everything. Not saying this is true or not trying to, make assumptions here. I'm just going based off what Agent Stahl says. She claims that the women of the club really actually do know just about everything. So she believes that if she can get to the women and get one of them to turn, then she has the club hands down. So the first thing that she does is she raids Luann, who Luann has been part of the show since the beginning. She's one of Gemma's dearest friends. She is the wife of Big Otto Delaney, who is in prison for committing a murder for the Sons, and she runs the porn industry. And basically, she in an earlier episode, she gave the club some money in order to help them pay the Irish back. Now she's caught with basically at her studio. There's a bunch of drugs, so she gets arrested. Basically can put her away for quite a while. So they try to go after her, and that is their leverage to be able to use the past against Sons of Anarchy. Because remember, they want to use Rico, and if you want to use Rico, you have to use stuff from the past and stuff in the present. So a period of about 10 years. So they want to, because Otto loves Luann, and basically, like, the club knows that when it comes to somebody messing with their women, it can have very negative consequences for the club, because they might do something rash and they're not thinking about it. And Otto might, rat, as they say, or he might give up information that they don't want given up. So they go after her. They also go after Half Sack's new girlfriend, Cherry, who's been on the show for several episodes, came from the Indian Hills chapter of the club. She used to be a sweet butt for them. And basically, what ends up happening is, it turns out that Cherry was not completely honest about who she was and why she was there. In fact, her real name's not Cherry, it's actually Rita. She reveals that she actually still legally is married. And basically she, I think she was abused, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, she burned down her husband's house, and destroyed all of his possession. Boy, I can't talk today. So she basically destroys all of them and went on the run. So she could be looking at some pretty serious time. They could even possibly throw attempted murder charges at her, because I think he was in the house. So they are able to track her down. They arrest her. So they're holding both Luann and Cherry in the jail, the charming jail. So Clay realizes that they're trying to use Rico against the club. They're going after the women. So Clay basically has Jax and Opie go with Unser to the jail, because they even were holding Unser for questioning, because it's pretty obvious they know that he's connected to the club. So they all go to the jail, and basically at that point, Stahl had been talking to Otto, and basically Otto offered to give them some kind of hijack or something that the club had done about a decade ago, and he was going to give that information up, and that would have been the past crime. So Otto was thinking about that because he wanted to save Luann. He doesn't want to see his wife go to prison. So while he's doing that, the club finds out this is what's going on, and they basically decide to make sure she gets a message to Otto. So Luann says she will. Now, Cherry, basically, whenever she's told about all this, she realizes that she can't handle it. Even Gemma was saying, in the supermarket before she gets arrested, she's like, hey, you understand what's going to happen to you, right? You might do some serious hard time. You're expected to be loyal to the club. If not, you can be killed. And Cherry just can't cut it. I mean, she doesn't. Stahl practically tells her that if she does go to jail, she's probably looking to be there until about the time she enters menopause. That's what Stahl said. So she's probably not going to get out until she's in her 40s, maybe even the early 50s potentially. So Cherry can't take it. I mean, I can't blame her. Who would? And basically tells Jax, "Hey, you got to break me out of here, or I'm gonna rat." So Jax realizes he can't leave her, so he breaks her out, and basically they take her back to the cabin, which Piney owns, in order to hide her out until they can figure out what to do with her. So definitely a lot of great scenes in this episode, mostly focused around that. Now another big development was that Hale and Stahl are in, like, I don't know if you necessarily call it a relationship, but they're basically giving each other oral pleasure, if you will, in their office. And Jax walks in on that, and I always thought that was kind of really like weird. I was like, I never thought those two would really be like a hookup kind of item, but yeah, they hooked up. It was definitely very very interesting scene nonetheless. As well as the other thing that really happens is I really like how they have a scene between Cameron Hayes as he's recovering, and Gemma. Basically, Cameron Hayes was praying, because he's a Catholic. And Gemma, Gemma's always been about family, and I don't think that God necessarily has a place in her life at this point. So she ends up having a conversation with him, and basically is talking about, like Cameron says, "Yeah, I know I'm going to hell. I just pray anyways because it makes me feel better about life." And Gemma and him have an interesting conversation. But I thought it was a very nice moment, because it really shows that Gemma, that basically like outlaw side in her, and shows like the different morals of people. I mean, I always wanted to do like a thing on there, like, do any of the members of the Sons believe in God? Because I really don't know. And it's definitely interesting because just because you're in like anarchism, or just because you're part of some criminal enterprise, or just because you do something like that, does not mean that you're an atheist, or that God doesn't love you anymore. I mean, not going to make judgments, and I'm not going to go into that. We all have our beliefs. It is what it is. But I definitely thought that it was a very interesting scene. It just reaffirms how Gemma is as a character. It's definitely a nice moment. Gemma also has a funny moment with Stahl in the supermarket, basically daring her to, get a little wild. I'm not gonna. That scene is just too inappropriate for YouTube. I'm just not gonna go into it. But definitely a lot of good scenes for Gemma, and it really shows like how strong she is. And she just says, hey, this is the time where it gets tough, and you got to buckle down. And I really think that it shows just how well of a matriarch she is. But the biggest development at the very end that really carries on over into these next few episodes is that the witness turns out to be a young girl who was with Hefner, who basically identifies she identifies Bobby. They basically get sketches from her, and it's like, I mean, you look at the picture of Bobby, it's 100% Bobby. It is. But Opie, and she also partially identified Opie, but the picture is not 100%. Like, you can even tell, like, they even describe it. She doesn't get the nose and she doesn't get the eyes right. And, so it's not enough yet. But basically, this moment sets forth the rest of the plots for the rest of these episodes. And it really has big ramifications on the entire club and the entire series as a whole. So I'm going to bring this video to a close, and you'll wait for my next video. I'm going to do the next 2 episodes back to back, because I feel like even though The Sleep of Babies is definitely a bigger one, I feel like basically those 2 episodes, again, if I find that there's a couple episodes that, back to back, they really follow the same storyline, then I'm not really going to, separate them, because again, I don't think, you want to watch 75 videos, you know what I mean? But if something can be separated and deserves to be separated, then I'm going to separate them, because I feel like there was just a lot more here. It kind of connects, but I don't want this video to be too convoluted with, other episodes. So that's why I decided to do this one on its own. So I'm going to bring this episode to a close. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to tell your friends. I have a lot more ideas coming out for future videos. And if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.